Alright, everyone, welcome back to 123 Game. We're going to be talking about Nintendo today. We've got our Nintendo Switch 2 discussion, and then we're going to go into some predictions of things we want to see for the Switch 2, things like that. Um, I'm pretty excited about this one uh, because, I don't know, we could be in the year of new Nintendo hardware, potentially. We'll see. But Skylar, just to throw it to you, when you think of the Switch 2, how do you envision it? What do you want to see out of it? When do you think we'll see it? Just some things like that.
Yeah, that seems to be the talk of the town is the new Nintendo Switch hardware coming out this year. Seems like everybody's been talking about it and stuff like that. Um, whether or not we'll see it in 2024 is yet to be determined because I feel like Nintendo could ride out the Switch's momentum until 2025
Hmm.
because the Switch is still selling like crazy. I feel like maybe they could put out some more maybe remasters and like a few first party content here and there and try to maximize all the sales out of the Switch for another holiday.
Yeah, I think I think at minimum we'll see it this year, for sure. I think it's
Yeah, I think we could see it like what it is this year.
yeah. I think it's a lock that we'll definitely see it this year. I don't know if it'll come out this year. I Part of me thinks that like you said, that there's great momentum on the Switch, so why rush it out of the door? Why not just reveal the Switch hardware or the Switch 2 hardware like November this year? Honestly, just repeat what you did for the Switch. Reveal it in like October. Announce that you're going to have the presentation in January. Because I actually think the 13th, which we're recording this after, or wait, no, it's the 14th, right? Yeah, it's the 14th.
Yeah,
I think today made 7 years. I think today was the 7th year anniversary of the Switch presentation. So it's awesome that we're doing it today because you could just repeat that and it be successful. Uh, I don't know. I would love to believe that it's coming out this year just because I think there really needs to be a refresh on the Switch hardware, and I personally want to see a refresh of the Switch hardware, and I want to get to this next Nintendo phase. We've kind of I don't want to. This is going to sound mean, but I just think the Switch is kind of you know it's wore out its welcome in my opinion. I think that games look and perform the best that they will on the console. It's not going to get any better. So I'm ready for the next Nintendo phase. So I'm gonna cross my fingers that we get the console this year.
yeah, I have some things wrote down that I would like to see out of a Switch 2. First off, for your name, I feel like you have to go with like a very a Nintendo-y name
Hmm.
because you want to get that point across that this is like a Switch 2. And what do you think about the name like Super Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch Ultra or like Nintendo Switch Deluxe?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people have floated that out there, especially the Super Nintendo Switch, because it makes I think that name makes sense. But even with what you said, ha- what's the best way to let people know about, or what's the best way to let people know that this is a Switch 2? What better way to just call it the Switch 2? I mean, just it says what it is. Because I don't know. Like after the Wii U, I think Nintendo might be a little bit scared. Because there was so many people who thought the Wii U was just an accessory to the Wii. It wasn't a new console, which it was. And I think that Nintendo's going to be a little afraid. Like, hey guys, let's avoid any confusion with this thing. Let's not give anyone a reason to doubt. So I can't talk. Let's not give anyone a reason to doubt. When they walk in a store, they see Nintendo Switch, and then they see a big number 2 right next to it, letting you know That is the second Nintendo Switch. It's not the first one. It's not the Ultra version of it. It's the Switch 2. So I think I've settled on it. It's going to be called the Switch 2.
I would like for it to be called something else. I just don't
Oh,
think
yeah,
Switch
I
2
agree.
rolls off the tongue like that.
I agree with
Because
you.
like you have the Nintendo Switch, the Switch Lite, and then the Switch OLED, and I just feel like it would be something else. I don't feel like it would be called like Switch Pro.
No, because again, it's for that reason that I don't think it would be called anything other than I mean, I think the Super Nintendo Switch makes the most sense. One, it's nostalgic. You're going to get a lot of people. You're going to capture their nostalgia, by calling it the Super Nintendo Switch. But even just like Nintendo Switch Pro, Nintendo Switch Ultra, doesn't that sound like an accessory? Doesn't that sound like, okay, we have the Switch Lite? Like, because you got to think from a casual consumer's mind, you know, like the mom and dads that are going to go into Walmart and they're going to be looking for this console that their son wants, and they're going to see, oh, there's the Switch Lite, there's the Switch OLED, there's the Switch Ultra. Which one did they want again? They said they wanted the new one, but which one's the new one? Which is the newest Switch? Oh, there's the Switch 2. Oh, that's the newest one. It has to be because it's the second one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure they would probably pick a unique name for that. I mean, I'm with you. I think Super Nintendo Switch sounds great. I like Nintendo Switch Ultra.
I think
I really like that name a lot, but I can also see how that could be confusing to the casual audience.
I think that if to me it's either two names. You're going to go with the Switch 2, or if you're going to name it not that, it has to be the Super Nintendo Switch. I just you should avoid at all costs doing a Nintendo Switch insert name, Nintendo Switch Pro, whatever. Also, if you're going to call it the Super Nintendo Switch, I think you would probably, or yeah, because I was going to mention like changing the branding up, like because the Switch in all of the marketing material it was all red. Everything was always red. This time around, maybe not do that, but then again, that's Nintendo's colors, so I don't know. I just think avoid confusion, let people know what it is, call it the Switch 2. I think that's the best thing. Like, don't make things harder for yourself. Don't, because if you call it anything else, your marketing department, like, you know, all right, guys, we need something. We need to let people know. We've got to make sure people know what this is. Whereas the Switch 2 just kind of writes itself. A consumer walks in, again, because we know. If you're a hardcore gamer, you know these things. But the casual consumer doesn't know these things. They walk into Walmart and they walk into these stores and they don't know what, you know, the Switch Ultra is. Like, what the hell is that? You know? So, I think just call it the Switch 2.
If they do pick a name like Super Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch Ultra or something like that, they'll have to be really like careful on how they market that thing because
Exactly.
you don't want to get confusion started again with like the Wii U.
Yep. And that's exactly
So
why I don't think they do it.
if they do a name like that, a creative name, then they really have to get that point across to the casual audience.
Yep. That's
Like they have to get that across.
I just don't think they'll do it, and that's why. I, like the Wii U failed because of this. Like the Wii U had content. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say that the Wii U had like the best content in the world, but the Wii U had games. You know, like their launch lineup, I don't think it was that great, but still, like consistently over the lifespan of the console, they did release games for the fucking thing. It was what killed it was just nobody knew what it was. Like all of the casual audience, because again, Nintendo thrives on casual audience. Like the Wii was as successful as it was because of the casual audience. Casual audience ate that thing up. So with the Switch, they just had very focused marketing. You could tell that they learned their lesson. They was like, no, we have got to market this thing great. We got to let people know what it is, clear and concise. And I just don't think they're just going to be like, all right, after one console generation, all right, let's totally forget about that and let's call it the Nintendo Switch accessory. You know, like, it's going to be called the Switch 2, in my opinion. I think so.
What are some things like you would like to see in a next Nintendo Switch console?
Well, we've talked about the power before when we've had conversations. Again, listen, it's not going to be if it wasn't a handheld, it we could have just because again, I'm of the belief I can't stand when people are like, Nintendo, they don't focus on hardware power. It's okay. It's okay that Tears of the Kingdom runs at 1 frame per second. It's fine. They don't focus on hardware power. Meanwhile, other companies are ate alive in their reviews for that, but I digress. If it wasn't a hand, because the thing with a handheld is like if Nintendo put out a handheld that was on par with like Series X or something, that thing would be like $1,000, you know. So
Yeah.
um, I think I think it's going to be about on par with like a PS4 Pro. I think you've said that before as well. I think
Mhm.
it's the safe bet. And listen, that's fine. At this point, I'm of the opinion that especially if there comes a day where Nintendo doesn't do like a handheld, I think that they definitely need to have powerful hardware because I think you're doing a disservice to your fans because for one, they don't get to play all of the third-party games, and they don't get if they do get the third-party games, they don't get to play the best version of them because they get to play a cloud version of the game. And then also you're hurting your developers because you're giving them inferior tools, you know. So I'm of the opinion if it's not a handheld, you need to have powerful hardware. In this case, I understand. I totally get it. It's $400. It's not gonna eat monsters for breakfast, as Xbox once said for the uh, I can't remember if that was Scorpio or the Series X, but it's not going to be the most powerful hardware in the world. But you know, because I mean, you loved Super Mario Wonder, and I haven't played it, but I'm sure it's great. But that game looks fucking incredible. And then you look at that, and you're like, man, imagine what they can do if they have PS4 Pro level hardware, because that is a step up, and it's not a well, I mean, it's pretty big. The Switch
It's
isn't
that'd
super
be a
powerful.
pretty big step up for Nintendo if you
Yeah,
went from like
exactly.
Switch to PS4 Pro.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I just want consistent performance. You know, I can't stand when people overlook performance in Nintendo games. I don't give a shit that their hardware is inferior. I don't care. You know, the the frame rate issues in Tears of the Kingdom should have been called out by developers because or by reviewers because any other developer would have got their game fucking shit on for having the performance that Tears of the Kingdom did. But I just want consistent performance, 60 FPS if you can get it, um, and hopefully there's 4K. I don't know how they'll balance that. I mean, if there's another like 2D Mario game, like that should be able to hit 4K 60 for sure. At least in my opinion. Handheld mode probably wouldn't do that, but because I don't know if there's really a point to have a 4K screen or anything. Maybe they will. I don't know. That'd be crazy if that's even possible. But yeah,
I'm hoping PS4 Pro level in terms of like power, but I even think like PS like base PS4 would be a step up from like what this Nintendo Switch currently is now. Like, if you think about it, like the PS4, like a base PS4 is kind of like a big uh step up for them.
I think it's got to be a little bit more than that though. I think they really need to have that minimum PS4 Pro like level hardware because like the PS4 Pro was a step up from the PS4 like base PS4, but PS4 Pro wasn't like leaps and bounds ahead of the original PS4.
There's some other things I also want out of the next Nintendo console outside of like power and stuff like that. For one, the Switch 2 needs to have a better UI than what like the Nintendo Switch has now. Like
Yeah,
it needs a UI that's fun and inviting and cozy, like
exactly.
the Wii U menu was.
Dude, the Wii U menu is fucking awesome. I remember telling you about that. That shit was awesome. You can say whatever you want about that console, and it's probably right. You can say a ton of shitty things about the Wii U, and you'd probably be right in what you're saying, but you cannot say that that console didn't have a fucking awesome user interface.
It did, and even the 3DS to an extent had like a fun user interface. Like you had the Mii's up on the top or on the gamepad, and then like whenever you went into the eShop, like you played a mini game while the eShop was loading. You played a mini game, and then on the 3DS, you watched like you watched like a mini game. You
Hmm.
watched like a character run around and like throw like blocks into the game, like get it to download. Like you got to watch something cool while the game downloaded. And normally they would play like a song from like or just a random Nintendo song or like I remember when Breath of the Wild came out, they was playing music from that game. Um, you just don't have that with the Switch UI anymore. Like you go on the eShop, it's slow. Yeah, there's no music, there's no personality to the UI anymore.
That's all you get, is what I just did. That little animation and that little noise, that's all you get on the Switch. No, I think, in my honest opinion, bring bring back an emphasis on me's. I'm just gonna say it. Bring back an emphasis on me's. There was nothing wrong with me's. You got to create one if you did a profile picture or whatever, but it was fucking pointless. Like
I
bring.
think they dropped these from like the Switch was just to try to distance themselves away from that Wii branding.
I mean, most likely, but you could make a new version of them and call them something else, or
Yeah, you can call it something else.
but
Like how Xbox took their take on the Mii's with like avatars.
yeah. Well, the thing is though, is like, would it really like, especially now, like we're so far away from it. I just think that me's wouldn't be a bad thing. Like, so if you have me's in your on your Switch 2 and you have an emphasis on them and they're on the user interface, is like the consumer's going to be like, oh my god, like, I don't even think they would know about it until they bought the console. You don't have to
At
include it in your
this point, it
marketing
would
or
be
anything.
nostalgia if they brought back the Mii's. It would just be
Yeah,
like fun little nostalgia. Or
exactly.
they could like maybe make something like entirely new, like an entirely new set of avatars.
Yeah, they could like Me Too. They could do Me Too.
And that was going to lead me into my next point. Um, the Switch uh, 2 needs like a feature like MIIVERSE because MIIVERSE was a really, really awesome
Yeah.
concept. It got shut down way too early in its lifespan, but that was like a really awesome content, like concept.
Yeah, I really liked Miiverse too. I thought it was really interesting. It felt a lot different than, because again, I primarily play on Xbox, and it was very different from Avatar's, very different from what PlayStation was doing. It just felt really unique. Like when I first got a Wii U, I thought that was so cool that, like, I don't know, it just feels welcoming and inviting. Like I wanted to be on that console because it just felt really cool to be there.
It was a good Nintendo social media platform that was just into the game. Like it was just fun getting on there and checking out like other people's opinions on Nintendo games. Like drawing was like a big feature in it, and like people would draw like some of the most like coolest like stuff. And like each game had like its community,
Hmm.
and it was just a really awesome concept that Nintendo done, and they abandoned it like years before the Switch even came out. They just shut it down.
Yeah, it really sucks too. I don't. I have my complaints even in regards to like the Xbox user interface, for instance. Like there's no rule that says you can't have fun with your interface anymore. I don't know why everything has to be so serious. Like, here's your games, and this is it. This is all we can show you, because if we do anything fun, we're gonna get laughed at and made fun of. Like, who gives a shit? Like, have a fun UI. It was like when I got, like I said, you can say a lot of stuff about the Wii U, but that shit was fucking cool, especially the first time you booted it up. When I got a Wii U and booted it up, I thought that was so fucking cool. Seeing like Miiverse and all the Mii's running around, and then you create one, and then you feel like you're joining the Nintendo community. You feel like you're in there. Like, there's my Mii, there he is, you know?
There needs to be a successor to that with the next Nintendo hardware
Yeah, they could even
because
like,
Nintendo can take console UI and just flip it onto its head instead of it being like a boring thing like you just said. It could be something like fun and uh, inviting, and it could just be something really interesting. I feel like they could take that concept of Miiverse and turn it into something great.
yeah, I agree. Because like one of the things I can't stand is like, and this is something that I've, because me and you have talked actually about the PlayStation 5 user interface, which I actually really like. I know a lot of people have hated on it because, oh, we want our dynamic themes back, but like, because even like, okay, if the Switch 2 at least has music in the UI, I will at least be happy because just the cozy Nintendo music in the background, I think it's just fucking cool. You know, I think it's really cool. You could even do something cool like every Switch comes preloaded with like select music from all of their games. You got some Mario theme songs, you got some Zelda theme songs, and you can have that shit playing on your UI. Why not? Like, I think that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
or maybe I really like the PS5's interface. One of the reasons why I like about that because when you hover over a game, you will hear a song from that gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they could do something like that.
I'm with you though. I want Miiverse. I really do. Like, I just
Yeah,
because you saying that just it brought me back to like when I first got a Wii U, and I just remember being so I just loved it. I thought it was so cheerful, you know, getting on there and the music and the eShop theme songs. Dude, I remember sending
uh,
the eShop theme song that was playing when I got my Switch because I got my Switch around it was like February 2015, and I remember getting on there and hearing that song, and it was so cozy, dude, and I was like, this is awesome. This is so cool. Why does nobody else do that? Like, I was hoping Xbox was going to do that with their new UI, but of course, oh, we have our tiles and we have our, you know, like no music playing, can't have no fun. Like, fuck that. You know, just have fun with your UI. Invite your audience in when you turn on that console.
yeah, and I feel like with Miiverse, it would like a Miiverse successor would solve a lot of other issues I was about to mention was like Nintendo's online on things. Like I'm a big Smash player, for instance.
Hmm.
If I met somebody online and I thought they were a really good player, there is no way that I can message them or like there's no way that I could send them a message and ask them to play again. This is the same thing with Splatoon, a big online multiplayer game. If I met somebody in a Splatoon lobby, there is no way that I can message them and like get in contact with them. Same
Exactly.
goes for Mario Kart. There's no way that you can message them and get in contact with them. But you solve that issue is if you have something like Miiverse, like a successor to Miiverse,
Yeah, I don't.
or Discord integration on your console, which I wouldn't mind to see that. I want Nintendo's take um on like a Miiverse successor and like Discord and stuff like that. But yeah, there's just no way to get in contact with other players besides if you go into a Discord server and just for Smash or Splatoon or something like that.
I mean, as far as Discord integration on console, it can go to hell for all I care. I mean, I like you watch me play games on the PS5, and they have cool features like share your screen. When I record game clips, I can include our voice in it, so it creates memories that you can look back on and be like, oh, that was, yeah. I go back and watch them. I'm like, man, that was funny, you know. And with Xbox, they don't have anything like that, but they do have Discord integration. But it fucking sucks because you can't even share your screen because that's not available yet. I don't personally like. I don't, that just doesn't do anything for me. I mean, you can create your own feature. It's not that big of a deal. You can add features to you know add to the experience again because I'm a big fan of like I had similar feelings when I first got. I mean, even like back in the 360 days, although it wasn't as detailed as like the Miiverse, just the way their dashboard used to be back in like the 2010 golden era of life. You could go like your friends was right there and you could just scroll through everyone and their avatars was there and like whatever outfit they had you could see on their avatar whatever props they had it would show if they were online what games they were playing. I thought that was cool as hell.
Are you
It,
talking about the blades?
no, this was after the
Oh, oh,
blades. This was what they did after the blades. Like
okay,
it's hard
okay,
to
yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
yeah, it was really cool. And then going to the Xbox One, I thought it was really cool because they turned it very much into like almost like a Twitter. You could make posts on the feed. Game clips that you've shared went to the feed. It was really cool. And even now, just like those features are fucking gone. Like I mean, there's an activity feed, but you have to jump through hoops and circles to even find it on the Xbox. Like it's shit. So uh, I don't like that we're taking a step back. Nintendo, bring us back. Bring us back to having fun UIs. Bring us back to hardcore social elements. You can even incorporate Nintendo Land into this if you want. Like I don't know. I just think it'd be cool if Miiverse came back. We've
Yeah, or
talked
like a little sister to it.
we've talked about Miiverse for like 15 minutes. This is crazy.
So I think we both can agree the launch title for the Switch 2 is going to be a new 3D Mario game.
Yeah, 1,000%. Um, yeah, I don't
That's
see any way.
what I put your money on is the 3D Mario game because you know that's been cooking for years now.
And it's been cooking for this. Because again, everyone's been like, where's the next 3D Mario at, bro? And it's like they are 1,000%. They have been telling that team, here's just time. Find the next innovation, or if you're going to innovate on what Odyssey did, you have time to do it, and you're going to come out on the next Switch because it just makes total sense. I mean, listen, especially with Nintendo, because this is this console generation is going to be big for Nintendo because they just had a ultra successful Switch, and there's fear of are you going to lose that because and this is where like again when the reports came out again quote unquote leaks in quotation marks leaks from that one guy who said that the next Nintendo console was an iteration on the Switch. It's like I mean, thanks Sherlock. I think everyone knew that. I think that's not really like a leak. I think everyone like, yes, Nintendo's not going to come out with the next thing after the Switch. Like it's too soon. It's pretty clear that it's going to be iteration on the Switch, but um, there's real fear of like, what if they lose that? What if they do something? What if they mess up like the Wii U generation? What if they call the Nintendo Switch U? And like you do that, and then all of a sudden you've got casuals confused, and they don't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden you get left behind again, and you got to come out with the next innovation to try to recapture people's imagination. And what better way to get people to buy your console than with a new 3D Mario?
A new 3D Mario game, exactly. I was under the impression that the next 3D Mario game was going to be Super Mario Odyssey 2. Like you could not change my mind about that. But then I seen Bowser's Fury, and Bowser's Theory was like a side game.
Hmm.
And when I played that, that game was like very different because it seemed like it was just a big connected world, and like there was like no transitions, like no going to like the Hat Kingdom, and then no going to like the Poison Kingdom. Like everything was just all connected. And I feel like with Bowser's Theory that they was kind of like testing the waters with that gameplay idea. And I feel like the next 3D Mario game will be something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if Bowser's Fury was almost like a proof of concept for it.
Yeah, that's what I really thought when I played Bowser's Theory was like this is kind of like I'm getting a taste of what the next 3D Mario game was going to be.
I think it'd be so cool if it's not Odyssey 2. I just like the idea of like, because if it's not Odyssey, then that means you've got something new. You've got like this new idea, and I like the idea that it's going to be Super Mario something. I don't know. uh, if it's Odyssey 2, obviously no one's going to complain, and I will be very excited to play it. But I do like the idea that it's just something. Maybe they've just got some totally new idea that we've not seen. But it's 1000%. That's the launch card. That's the launch title for the next Switch.
Because I do think it's going to be something a, like a new take on that Bowser's Fury level design that we just seen in 2021 because that is a new concept. I feel like they could really like expand on that in a full-fledged 3D Mario game. So I feel like that will be your launch title with the Switch too. That's a great launch title.
Yeah,
I say if we're saying if the Switch comes out in 2025, that's your launch title. Your summer game is Metroid Prime 4 for both the Switch 2 and the Switch because you want to keep your promise to the 130 million install base that they're still going to get to play Metroid Prime. They don't have to buy like a new console. They can still play it on their Nintendo Switch, the console that it got announced for. And it's still going to be a cross-platform game. And
and
then
it will
your
need
hol-
the sales.
your holiday game. What better holiday game is there than Mario Kart 9?
Yeah,
DLC got wrapped up on Mario Kart 8. And it's been since 2015 since a new Mario Kart game.
I thought
I
2014.
Was it 2014 or
Yeah,
2015?
I'm pretty sure Mario Kart 8 was 2014.
Well, even longer.
Wow.
So I know that the Mario Kart team has came up with lots of new ideas since then.
If they
And I feel
haven't,
like
something's wrong.
kind of I feel like they're just kind of sitting on it. I feel like Mario Kart 9's ready. It's ready to show. It's ready to release. I feel like they're just sitting on it. And what better fall title can you have than Mario Kart 9? A big holiday game.
Yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
that's, and in my opinion, they're interchangeable because to some it may sound crazy, but I am fully of the belief that if, let's say, if 3D Mario wasn't ready and it needed to be the fall game, I am fully of the opinion that Mario Kart 9 could be the launch title of the next Switch, and it
oh
would
yeah,
do
Mario Kart 9
fine.
could also be the launch title. I mean, I feel like both games are ready to show, uh, possibly ready to release because it's been a long time
Yeah,
since we've seen uh, a new Mario game, 3D Mario game, and Mario Kart 9. Yeah, I really feel like in your first year of the Switch, I feel like that's what you're going to see. You're going to see Mario, Metroid Prime 4, and Mario Kart 9. I feel like that's what you're going to see for the first year of the Switch 2. And that would be like an incredible year.
it would. I think they'll have 4 games. I think they'll do it like the Switch. I think they'll have the launch game, the summer game, the kind of July, because again, their launch lineup with Switch was Breath of the Wild, Arms, Splatoon 2, and then Odyssey, which again, I don't think a console's ever had a best first year. That's the best for. I mean, yeah, Arms it exists, and Splatoon 2 is really good if you, especially if you like that game. But I mean, to
You also
launch.
had a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in
Oh
2017.
yeah, I totally forgot that that was a thing. God, man, they had so many. So I think that they'll at minimum I think they'll have 4 games. I don't know what the fourth one would be, but I think at minimum they'll have four. Cause,
But
cause
I
again,
think a safe bet, your three games would be those, what I just mentioned.
oh yeah, for sure. I would, yeah. I think those three are ready, most likely. I mean, Metroid. you know, the jury's out. I don't know. We've not seen it for a while, but um, for sure, I think those three games are a safe bet. Um, maybe Splatoon. When did Splatoon 3 come out? Was it
Uh,
2022 or
I
2021?
know DLC is wrapping up on that game pretty soon.
I wonder if they could get a Splatoon 4 out in time. Honestly, they might get a Splatoon 4 out because it's a big franchise for Nintendo now. So
I kind of think Splatoon is unlikely. What
I
if they
don't
done
know.
like a for Arms? Arms.
Yeah, I think there's a better chance that you'll see a Halo game as the launch title for the next Switch. I don't know. Yeah, I think those three games are that's a safe bet. I think that those three games for sure will be there. I do wonder what the fourth game would be because I don't know because the thing that made the Switch so successful is they had they dominated 2017. They literally did. So in January they had the big reveal event, showed everything, showed the games, announced the release date. Console comes out, Zelda launches with the console, great sales, and then they just consistently uh, the Mario Kart 8 port came out in what like April that year.
Hmm.
You had Arms 2, you had Splatoon 2, you had like Xenoblade and Odyssey. Like there was just so much momentum because they just constantly were releasing something, and I think they'll want to do the same thing again. I think they'll want to just consistently put things out on the console, and it works.
Cody,
Yeah.
I just thought I didn't mean to interrupt you. You can finish what you was going to say,
Oh,
but I thought of what the fourth game might would be.
oh,
What
go
it
ahead.
could a Smash Ultimate port. Imagine if it was
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that would make a lot of sense, honestly. If if there's not a new Smash in the works,
Yeah. Oh yeah. If there's not a new Smash.
because as you know, I teased my list because we made list of like some of our predictions, and I had Sakurai's name on there because he announced recently that he is making games. So uh, I wouldn't be shocked, man. If I really wouldn't be shocked if there's a new Smash in the works, honestly.
I think that's definitely like whether it's a deluxe port of Ultimate with like new characters, new stages, and so on, or like a brand new Smash, Smash Six. Like it's, I think a Smash if Switch Two launches in 2025, I feel like you might would see Smash Six in like 2026.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think you'd want to put that in a jam-packed year because you already have enough content. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because then it's like okay, well then in my opinion, if that's the case, then you have to switch one of them out. I think if maybe Smash Six is the fall game and Mario Kart 9 is your next year's big title, you wouldn't want to load up all your content in one year.
no, you wouldn't want Smash and Mario Kart, because both of those games would dominate.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think yeah, Smash would probably be your 2026 title if it came out in 2025. I guess we should segue into our predictions and wants,
Yeah,
wish list for Nintendo and their next gen console.
yeah, and a lot of my predictions that I wrote down are just things that a lot of them are a lot of these aren't like personal, like, oh, I dream this will happen. It's more so, well, maybe one of them is like one where it's like, okay, that would be something I'd really be interested in. But, um, yeah, I mean, a lot of these are just like things that I think would be cool. Things that I think that, it'd be like, it's a wild prediction. Some of these that, some of these are wild predictions. I'm going to be honest. Um,
I have some wild predictions also. So
okay. Who wants to go first? You want to go first?
yeah, I'll go first because I'm a pretty big Nintendo fan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, these are like somewhat. I could see these being somewhat safe picks, and I could see these games actually happen. These are like personal picks for me, like once. So Earthbound's 30th anniversary is coming up this year. What if we seen like a remake of like Super Mario RPG level remake of of Earthbound, of Mother 2 Earthbound?
Hmm. See, it's actually interesting because one of my predictions relates to that, but it's a little bit different than
Mhm.
yours. So, a remake is definitely in the cards. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to see that. My prediction's a little bit more crazy than that.
Is your prediction Mother 4?
So, my prediction I wrote down. So, Mother 3 gets ported. So, you get the announcement of Mother 3, and then you get a teaser of Mother 4.
That would be crazy. But I remember seeing, and they could always find like another developer or something, but a toy, the creator for Earthbound in the Mother series, he said that he would never do another Mother game again. I'm pretty sure that's somewhere out there online. He said something similar to that.
Yeah, but you don't need him to do it, you know?
Yeah, that's what I like said before that. Like,
Yeah.
they could always get somebody else to do that.
Yeah, just he wouldn't be on the project. But because the thing is, and this relates to like maybe like one or two of my other predictions. And this
Hmm.
actually relates to something because I know you were teasing me because you have this big pitch for an IP that Nintendo has. But this relates to that.
Hmm.
Nintendo doesn't let IP for the most part. For the most part, Nintendo doesn't let IP sit around and collect dust. For the most part, they will try to do something with the game,
Hmm.
especially if they think that there's something there, because Nintendo values their IP and they know that it's the heart and soul of their console, and so like Advance Wars came back. That was
Hmm.
something. It's like some random obscure here's Advance Wars, and it's like okay, and there was a lot of people that really did enjoy it, but like Advance Wars wasn't some smash success, but they brought it back because Nintendo values their games and they're trying to see like is there an audience for Advance Wars? Um,
I feel like if you want to bring back Earthbound in the Mother series before you do Mother 4, I feel like maybe you should put out a remake of Earthbound and to test the waters with that and see how that goes. See if there's like an audience for Earthbound on Switch. And I feel like that's what you should do first is maybe put out a remake of Earthbound and then maybe port Mother 3 to Switch
hmm
and then maybe do a Mother 4.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like that's one of those games. I don't know. I just feel like the Nintendo audience would be very happy. I just kind of feel like that's like I think the Nintendo audience will eat Mother 4 up. You know what I mean? Like I know it's been absent for a while, but like if you do put out ports of, you know, Mother 3, uh Mother 2 like you're saying, and then alongside that you tease Mother 4, I think you're going to get a lot of people jumping in, playing the games and getting ready for 4. I don't know.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
to mention that. Like maybe make Earthbound remake, and then alongside of that, you announce Mother 4.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that yeah, I think that's something that will happen because again, I just Nintendo values their games and they do not let things sit around for a super long time, especially games like this where there's been sequels, there's an audience there. I don't think that Nintendo will just sit around and be like, no, we're never going to do anything with it again. I don't think that's going to happen.
Speaking of remakes and stuff like that, We recently just got the Metroid Prime remastered last year, around
Hmm.
February. I feel like Nintendo should keep something like this going, and I feel like they should remaster or remake Ocarina of Time, their flagship, the flagship Zelda game.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've seen a lot of people say that, or like Twilight Princess, and maybe those are like the big. I mean, because if they want to have a Zelda presence on the next Switch, maybe that's the fourth game.
Yeah,
You
if
know?
you want to have early like Zelda presence, I feel like that would be a safe pick.
Yeah.
I feel like I could see that happening one day, like a visual remaster like Metroid Prime got. Nothing too crazy, maybe modern controls of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
I don't think they would do Twilight Princess. I feel like they would just port that game. I don't feel like they would remaster Twilight Princess because Ocarina of Time is your one of your most popular Zelda games,
Exactly. Yeah.
and I feel like that would need the visual remaster more than like Twilight Princess would.
Oh, for sure. Maybe that's if we live in a world where like maybe the second year of the Switch, your headliners are Ocarina of Time remake and Smash Six.
Yeah,
That would be nice. Yeah, and Ocarina of Time needs it. I mean, it definitely needs it.
yeah, it definitely needs a visual overhaul.
You want to go into well, you already did one technically. I chimed in, but you had your first
Mhm.
one. Do you want to do your next one, or do you want me to do one?
The last big prediction uh, I have, or like wish list, this is like a pitch more like, is for a Star Fox game.
Yeah, I want to hear your pitch. I want to hear this. You were teasing earlier, so I want to hear your pitch for what a new Star Fox looks like.
So Star Fox is kind of dormant right now. I feel like Nintendo doesn't know what they want to do with Star Fox. The last Star Fox game we got was in 2015 was Star Fox Zero on the Wii. And that game was kind of like a soft remake, reboot. I don't know what that game was
Yeah.
of the first game. Well, not the first game, but Star Fox 64. Um, I really feel like Nintendo doesn't know what they want to do with Star Fox, and that's why we haven't seen it. So I have a pitch for a awesome Star Fox game.
Nintendo take notes.
The the title of my fictional Star Fox game is Star Fox Intergalactic. And this game I'm about to describe to you is like it's kind of like a combination of multiple games.
Hmm.
It's a combination of like games like No Man's Sky, Starfield, Breath of the Wild, Prime, and the two Star Fox games on GameCube, which was Star Fox Adventures. It was more or less a Zelda clone
Hmm.
that Rare made. I don't know if you remember that one or not.
Yeah, I remember seeing gameplay of that.
And the second one was a third-person shooter like game, Star Fox Assault. And that was the last we've seen of Star Fox for a while, like on console. Because we didn't get one on the Wii. We got Star Fox Zero on Wii U, and then we ain't got nothing on Switch. But I want this game to be like I want the world design to be open ended, like
Hmm.
a not a open world, but like huge galaxies to explore. And I want the game to be third person. Like imagine Nintendo's take on a third person shooter. Not Splatoon. I know they already did Splatoon, but I'm talking like something a little bit different. And what I have written down in my notes is like I said, the world design is open ended. It's not open world, but there's huge galaxies to explore.
Hmm.
Like you have five big galaxies to explore, and you have like other smaller galaxies you can explore on like the side. And then the gameplay is a mix between classic R-Wing gameplay and Nintendo's modern take on a third-person shooter, with very fun and innovative gunplay that feels new, but in the spirit of classic Star Fox.
Hmm.
A lot of variety that they could do with close quarters combat with staffs, like they did in Star Fox Adventures, and a lot of different blasters and gadgets to choose from. And like I just said before, there's five big galaxies to explore and multiple smaller galaxies to visit in the vein of like Starfield and No Man's Sky. Because couldn't you do something similar in those games?
Yeah, I mean, like um, there's like big systems that have in Starfield like that have six, eight planets, but then you have like your systems that have like one or two. Would you? I mean, are you thinking that like each planet, it's like when you once you get on the planet, it's not like a massive, you can explore everything, just more like a chunk of it, like that's very focused, very designed.
Yes, that's what I'm more so thinking
Yeah.
about.
See, I was gonna say that would work better than trying to do something, where you just explore the planet or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Like when you arrive on the planet, it's kind of like in Metroid Prime on like how you have these different worlds. Well, not different like different areas to explore, but they're not open world, but they're like open ended
Hmm. No,
and like
yeah, I was gonna say I like the idea. I was gonna say yeah, because I mean I think that because like in comparison to Starfield, you have like something like Outer Worlds, where it's very much smaller in scope.
mhm.
You just get one kind of solar system to explore. There's a bunch of different planets to go to, but once you go to the planet, obviously you can't explore it all. It's very much we designed this area that you're going to be going out and exploring, and I think that would work well in a game like that with Star Fox.
And like I just want to see like a Nintendo's take on like a third person shooter. Like
Yeah, they need that. I mean, because that was one of the things I was going to write down was I want more diversity in their games. Like give us a third-person shooter.
and like this Star Fox game can be very like adventure focused
Hmm.
and be very focused in like its world and like these different planets that you can explore and like very focused in its like gunplay
Yeah, I
and
think
like
that.
you have a lot of variety and like different weapons that you can use in terms of like staffs, swords, blasters that you can choose from.
Yeah, and I think that Star Fox Zero proved that that franchise needs a rethinking, and this sounds like exactly what it would need. Like I don't know. I just think that.
You could keep in the classic like R-Wing gameplay as you're like traveling to different planets.
Yeah, and that would be fine. It's just I just think that the era of making just a game like that, it's kind of moved on. I think
And
that.
Star Fox, I feel like Star Fox has this world that where you could do something like that.
Yeah, exactly. You totally could. So it needs something like this, in my opinion. Um, I know we don't have too much longer, so if you want, are you done with your predictions?
Yeah.
I'm just going to rattle off a few of mine because again, mine aren't huge. Mine aren't things that like I'm like begging for. These are just some ideas. I was looking at some old dormant Nintendo games and I was like, this would be a good idea. First and foremost, uh, I love Yoshi. I
Hmm.
want like a 3D Yoshi game. I want like a 3D, and I don't want this fucking art style where it's like yarn or whatever they do. Just give a fucking Yoshi game. Give me a 3D Yoshi game, 3D platformer. I just think it'd be cool. Um, I think that Nintendo just announced that they're bringing Golden Sun to their online subscriptions. It's kind of been dormant for a while. It's an RPG franchise over there. I could see that coming back because again, Nintendo just doesn't let IP sit around for a long time. And this one's kind of crazy. This one's okay. So do you know of Eternal Darkness?
Yeah, it was on the GameCube.
Yeah. So again, like I was just saying, I want Nintendo to give new genres. Give some new things. And this one's a little crazy, but Nintendo bringing Eternal Darkness back, having a mature horror game. But here's the kicker, because the first one wasn't really survival horror. From what I was reading online, it was more action adventure. This new one, this reboot, would be a full-on survival horror game. And, and this one's just kind of me having fun, but it would be developed by Capcom on RE Engine.
Hmm.
But because I don't know who would make it at Nintendo, so it's like you outsource it to someone else. But because there was that rumor recently that Nintendo was
Yeah,
doing that.
that's what I was going to say with my Star Fox pitch. If Nintendo doesn't have any ideas for Star Fox, maybe they could let somebody else take a spin at the
Yeah,
Star Fox.
yeah, they could do that. I don't know who would do it, but they definitely could do that.
I don't even know who could do it, but I feel like with what I laid out, I don't know if I've done a good job at describing it because I'm kind of bad at describing things.
No, I mean I think it sounded really good. I like the pitch.
I feel like that's a really good concept for a Star Fox game
It is, and it needs something like that. It definitely does. Um,
because everybody hated on Rare back because that was like their last game on Nintendo on a Nintendo platform
yeah,
was Star Fox Adventures, but that game was something different. It was something new. It wasn't just your classic R-wing battles. It was just something different, and they tried to innovate the Star Fox series.
I think, and that's what it was. It was at the time people was like, we want OG Sky or Star Fox back. That's what we want. It's like, no, you don't. You really don't want it. Star Fox Zero proved that. I just want to quickly get through my last two. I just want to go ahead and say these, and then we can talk about Star Fox if we have a little more time. Um,
Hmm.
I want Nintendo to reach out and get a lot more exclusive content from third parties, not just focus internally. Um, and then also the big one, I mentioned Sakurai. He said he's working on games. Nintendo does not like IP to sit around for too long. So what if Sakurai isn't working on Smash 6, but instead a new Kid Icarus?
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I
I
just
really loved Chris on the 3DS, and that would be awesome to have a sequel to that game.
yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to get that out there cuz I think it'd be cool if maybe he took a break from Smash and he's doing that instead, but Smash 6 would be cool too.
Put him on that Star Fox game.
Honestly, yeah, no, I really do like the Star Fox idea because I think that again, we've talked about this before, but you have a lot of people who, when they see like OG GoldenEye, and they bring this back, and then it comes out, and then people play it for 2 minutes, and then they're done with it because they're like, oh, most of these games from the '90s weren't great. I totally forgot about that. They were very clunky, and it's the same thing. Like Rare was like, here's this new innovation for Star Fox, guys, and they're like, no, we want OG Star Fox back. We want to just fly around and shoot things. It's like you actually don't want that. You really don't,
Star
because
Fox needs that. Well, finish what you was going to say, and
I was
I'll
gonna say, because
go on.
Star Fox Zero proved it. You can continue. That's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
I feel like Star Fox needs that moment. Like Mario's had that moment multiple times to like where it's evolved. Like look at Super Mario 64. That was a big turning point for Mario.
Exactly.
Look
And
at like Ocarina of Time, and then look at Breath of the Wild. That was two big turning points for Zelda. Look at Metroid Prime for Metroid. Star Fox hasn't really had that big turning moment yet.
and the thing is it can. There's a lot of potential with that game. They just got to unlock it.
Yeah, they need to unlock that potential with Star Fox. It needs to have that big moment, that
Un-
big turning.
Unlock that potential, Nintendo. Yeah, but I don't have any more predictions. Do you?
No, I think that's all of it.
Just hope the Switch 2 comes out this year. That's all I hope.
If not this year, at least we get to see it.
Yeah,
I am confident we will get to see it this year.
definitely we'll see it this year. Hopefully it comes out this year though.